Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of First and Last. My name is Josh, and with me this week we have Joe.
Hey, man.
And
We started the pod late. I'm like 2 beers in already.
and Jimmy.
What up, pasta pals?
Nothing much. I can't get over Yo, man, Joe.
Yeah, there's no following that.
Trying some new stuff out. We're 130 episodes in.
Good night. We'll see you next week.
We'll try again next week.
Oh, man. Joe, how does this show work?
Welcome to First and Last. We take a TV show and watch only the beginning and only the end, just the first and last episode, the pilot and the finale. So a lot of times what works for this is like shows that have really interesting pilots or really interesting finales.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they really don't.
Sometimes it really doesn't matter.
Some of us pick really terrible shows.
Sometimes
they make us question who we are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get married
human
every
beings.
time.
Yeah. I mentioned that because the show I picked today was on a list. It was like by USA Today of like the worst finales ever. And this is number one.
There's
This is
no
number one.
I think that's an overreaction, but it's a notable ending.
I mean, here's the deal. Last time you looked up like terrible shows, we watched Jersey Shore, and
Yeah.
then I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate watched it.
Magical things happen at the shore.
And then you love watched it.
Rom ham.
I mean, I kind of have like Snooki's my girl.
Yeah,
Snooki is your girl?
Snooki won my heart. Yeah, she's great.
JWoww's too aggressive for me.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What show are we doing?
dangerous. So today we're doing How I Met Your Mother, which is a show I could have sworn we've done a few times. We've probably
there's a
at least
couple shows I think
talked about it, but apparently we haven't done it yet. So let's do it.
Did you scroll through like the list of episodes to make sure?
I searched. Yeah, I
Okay.
searched the episodes.
It is ridiculous that we have not.
It is
'Cause
ridiculous.
when did it ended? Did it end in 2019?
I got ya. No,
No.
it ended in 2014.
No. What? Really? What?
Yes.
No.
Calm down, Jimmy. It went from September
What
19th,
year is this?
2005 to March 31st, 2014.
It
It ended 6 years ago.
I have not known How He Met Her Mother for 6 years.
It's the one thing they promise.
It ended before we started doing this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Let's blow past
Well, hey,
it.
let's get Joe drunk and watch this show.
You guys, what have you guys seen of this show?
Well, quick, it went 9 seasons and 208 episodes.
Wow.
So it
I
was,
was
on
also
forever.
looking at the Wikipedia today, and every single episode is directed by Pamela Fryman.
I don't know who that is.
Holy,
It's just like
really?
a TV person, but she directed literally every episode.
That's a thing?
That's job security right there.
happens?
Yeah, I've never seen that before in my life.
Especially in like a sitcom.
Yeah.
You know, like they usually have a rotating
Can you say
people.
the years one more time? Was this in
2005.
Because I'd expect that from like maybe an 80s, 90s
Yeah,
show,
90s show.
maybe?
05 to 14.
Yeah. She did a bunch of episodes of Frasier. She's kind of a,
Nice.
a
Like her
standard
already.
TV director.
Okay. Okay.
She's an industry
Mm-hmm.
staple.
So what do we know
Josh,
about the show?
Did you not watch all of this show?
I don't. So the thing is there's quite a possibility that I've seen most of this show,
Mm-hmm.
but more than 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I've seen.
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. I like a lot of people that are in the show,
Mm-hmm.
like the Neil, the
Oh,
Dukes.
everybody loves the NPH.
Yeah,
Neil
you
Patrick
know.
Harris.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Jason Segel.
Yep.
And then
Oh
what's
my
her name?
gosh, that's right.
Allison Hannigan. She's
Yep.
from Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's Willow in Buffy.
And American Pie.
oh, and yeah.
Right. Those
Her less
all
noted
the
American Pie
sequels
role.
that she did not say no to for some reason.
Yeah,
She
like
also hosts Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
Really?
I didn't. I
There's
figured
a host besides like Penn and Teller on that
I
show?
literally thought it would just be Penn and Teller.
No, they have a host.
Are they in every episode? I feel like maybe
Penn
they're-
and Teller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then why did I
You're
wish?
trying to fool them.
I mean, only one of them talks, so it's good to have, another
Yeah, exactly.
voice.
Okay. I mean,
Interesting.
it's like your typical like kind of like friend scenario. They're all friends. They all live in an apartment. Like it's New York. Is it New York?
Yeah, it's New York. Mhm.
It's New York. They have a bar that they all go to. So instead of Central Perk, they go to some bar.
Yeah.
and they sit in like the same booth all the time.
Yeah.
And
And they're in the 20s and they're trying to figure out life.
are they in their? I feel like they're in their 30s. I feel like everybody in every
Maybe
sitcom
late
forever
20s.
is in their 30s.
Maybe late 20s.
Maybe mid to late.
There's
20s.
no way Jason Segel wasn't in his like
I
near
guess
40s
when this
when this
started.
Yeah, this is
9
2005.
years.
So
Hmm.
that's 15 years ago, Jason Segel.
This is true.
First prediction: when it ends, they're in their 30s.
I mean, 2000. Okay, so 2005 is when this started.
Yeah.
Jason Segel was I mean, he's 25. Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, isn't Colby Smulders in this too?
Yes. This was her
Agent, what's her face from the MCU?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was her first kind of big role.
Nice.
Yeah, and she
She's
was
great.
She was 82, so she was like 23.
She
Yeah.
was 82 years old when they started.
No, she was born in 1982.
I feel like
She's actually born in
I
1882.
don't
I read that wrong.
remember
She's a,
her role in this. Because mostly I know of her being like an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Marvel movies and shows.
Mhm.
So obviously this is not that. But what I'm envisioning is just like a Helen Hunt from Mad About You.
which another show we have not done somehow.
And so what I think of this show is just like a Mad About You, like Paul Reiser, is that the guy? And
Yeah.
Helen Hunt, but like with a couple of friends tacked on with Neil Patrick Harris.
So
and
who
Jason
is the
Segel
Helen Hunt
and
in this
Willow.
show?
Colby Smulders.
Who's the Paul Reiser of this show?
Whoever her boyfriend is. Couldn't tell. I assume Paul Reiser.
So you think she's like dating the main character?
Yeah, that's
Cool.
what I'm envisioning.
The one other thing I know
Like
about
she's the
this
mother?
show.
I don't know. I feel like let's roll back the minutes. I don't know who the mother is, or
Well,
how
that's
we
the
met her.
whole point of the show.
Is it though?
I mean, it's called How I Met Your Mother. What's
I feel
his
like
name?
it's mostly
What's
just
his-
about weird things that Patrick Harris does.
I'm gonna feel really dumb. Bob Saget.
Bob Saget.
He's
what about him?
so this is like
Is he's
like,
how
this is
how I
like
Met Your Dad?
a la the this is one of those weird things where it's like the main character, I forget his name. His
Ted
name,
Mosby.
Ted,
Patrick
okay, his
Harris.
name is Josh Radnor,
Paul
I think.
Reiser.
He's the guy in this, and he's like the whole premise of the show is he's telling his kids
Mm-hmm.
how, hey, let me tell you about How I Met Your Mother.
Mm-hmm.
But he's an adult.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the Wonder Years where like it's like I'm older adult me talking about child me.
Mm-hmm.
Adult me
He's an
talking about
adult me
young adult
talking
me.
about just younger adult me.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's Bob Saget's voice.
Oh.
His voice is completely
Interesting.
different.
And it's like your voice doesn't change from when you're like 25 to 40
You don't
unless
like,
you have an
see
accident.
Bob Saget like talking to kids. You just hear him.
You just hear him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like
Interesting.
talking. So I remember that from the show, and it's weird. So we'll talk about that when we get back.
Yeah.
To say whatever. But I don't know. This is just gonna be a sitcom first episode.
Mhm.
I barely think there's gonna be a plot. Someone might have like a little conundrum or a pickle that they have to like figure out,
Mhm.
and that's just kind of how they introduce. But I feel like this episode will feel very much like it could have just been thrown in the middle of season 3.
Mhm.
It's my thoughts about how this episode's gonna
Interesting.
I feel like some characters are gonna be moving in together.
You think there's like a new is there a new friend?
There's a
Or
new
something? A
maybe
new friend
an
or
old
an old
friend, but a
friend?
new apartment living situation that maybe they're moving in together for the first time,
Mhm.
and that causes some different friend dynamics and some tension. You know, like oh my gosh, Willow's totally a Monica. What's her name? Flanagan.
Allison Hannigan. Yeah.
Hannigan.
I don't know what her name is in the show.
She's totally
I
like
don't
type
remember.
A, and everything's gross. Maybe she moves in with Jason Segel, and that's a weird dynamic.
Mhm.
I think they're
Move-in
married.
day.
I think they're
pilot.
married in the show.
Damn it. From day one?
I don't know.
Yeah. I will say that I have seen like a lot of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't watching it live, but I was watching it more of like maybe a season or so behind.
I definitely saw it whenever I watched.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
a Netflix thing.
And then I fell off somewhere probably season 7 or 8, and then when I knew the final season was happening, I caught up. I didn't like watch the rest of that season, but I would just watch just the finale.
Okay.
So I do remember what happened in like the beginning and the end that we're gonna watch today. So.
Nice. I don't have any like recollection of like basically anything in this show besides like I know I've seen a lot. I know
Yeah.
who the characters are. I can't remember any I can't remember any of their names,
Mhm.
like any of the actual
Yeah.
characters' names. And
Barney, right?
I remember like seeing the mother like for the first time kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like in like a specific object happening, if you know what I'm talking about, Joe.
I think so. There's something with an umbrella or something.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it. I was
Okay.
going to ruin
So like you don't see her face or something?
Well,
For
Joe,
a while,
Joe can
yeah.
tell you whatever Joe wants to
Oh,
tell
okay.
you.
I'm just saying like this is the finale you're talking about.
I don't know if this is. I don't know when this happened.
Oh.
It happened within season 8 or 9 or something like that. I don't know.
Oh.
It's like, do we know them? I can't remember if we know the mom for like the whole last season or
I
not or
I
anything.
don't know either.
I can't remember any of these things.
Okay.
So
Okay.
who's to tell? Us in a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
I mean,
just
I'm going to tell you right now,
assume-
the last episode's a wedding. It's gotta be right. There's no way it's not.
Sure, but there's like multiple weddings.
I don't think it's like the thing is
I think it's a divorce.
my first prediction is the last episode. Before we get to the first episode, the last episode's a wedding, but it's not Ted Mosby and his wife's wedding. It's somebody else's wedding.
Okay.
I'll write that down when
Alright.
we get to the sheets. Shoot, we got anything else before we dive into this first boy?
I hope we hear one of Barney's legendary jokes in the pilot. I assume that comes later, but it would be, if we're only watching 2, I would like to maximize on my legendary.
They got to get the catchphrases in the first episode, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's watch this first episode entitled Pilot.
Ooh.
Of course it is.
I mean, thank you for saying it. I'll accept. I'm getting a little better in my
Wearing you
old
down.
age. I think sitcoms, fine.
You're softening
You don't
up.
know whether or not you're going to be on. If you were a sitcom on HBO, though, you better fucking be called something. But a sitcom on a regular thing, pilot, I'll accept
We've
it.
worn Josh down. What episode's this?
126.
All right.
God.
Good job, everyone.
All right. Well, we'll
This
see
is our
you.
last episode.
This podcast is going on until I just gave up. Done. All right. We'll see you after the pilot episode of How I Met Your Mother. And we're back. We're done with the
Me
first
back.
episode of How I Met Your Mother. Pilot.
Yeah.
That was a show
Good
we
times.
watched. Do you got a write up for us, Jim?
Yeah, I was just starting to pull it up. Okay, here we go. In the year 2030, 52-year-old Ted Mosby,
AKA Bob
Mosby?
Saget.
aka the voice of Bob, sits his 2 teenage children down to tell them the story of how he met their mother. Despite the kids being disinterested, Ted proceeds with the story, which started 25 years earlier in 2005. Ted, just starting his career as an architect, was living in New York City with his best friend and Wesleyan University roommate Marshall Erickson,
It's important to know where they went to college.
a second-year law student. Did we hear that? in
I don't know if
the
we did.
actual place. Their life was Their life was just about to change as Marshall planned to propose to his longtime girlfriend, kindergarten teacher Lily, who they also met at Wesleyan. As Ted, Marshall, and Lily hung out together as a threesome, Ted felt he needed to find his own love despite another of his friends' perpetual suit-wearing, blog-writing, womanizing Barney Stinson telling him no one should get married before age 30.
I thought you just said don't get married.
I think he just said, don't get married, yeah.
I didn't know he had a hard date
I
on
don't
it.
think. Maybe that must come later. Just then, Ted spotted across a crowded bar a beautiful woman he believed was destined to be his wife. She is a dog-loving, on-air reporter. They ended up going on a protracted first date, which ended unfinished. After getting advice from Marshall, Lily, and Barney, Ted vowed to finish the date with a grand gesture, which ended up being a little grander in a psychotic way than he imagined it would be. Ted finishes this phase of the story by telling the kids that's how he met their aunt, Robin. So yeah, Ted tells Robin at the end of the date that he loves her.
Good move
The
on
same
good move on
day.
day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, first date.
Kind of freaks her out. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's weird. Hey, stranger, I love you.
It's a whole drawn out thing, and they all had gone back. They're all waiting in the taxi for him and his date upstairs, and he doesn't kiss her. And I stopped watching the show forever.
Yeah, I mean, two things really happened. Was Ted went on a date with Robin because he met her in the bar, and Lily and Marshall got engaged. And that was the third season of episode 3 that we just watched. Didn't that feel like it could have been like mid-season?
No, man, that was the beginning. That's where he meets Robin for the first time.
Yeah.
Like introducing characters.
He could have met Robin in season 2.
You know, hold off on that character.
I'm having a love-hate relationship with this pilot because that basically is like just the beginning of any sitcom of like a will they won't they, but they already gave away that they won't they.
They won't they?
Yeah, it's,
But maybe they will at some point.
yeah, there's
Okay,
9 seasons of
I guess they will.
them probably like they totally like date in this show.
Someone's gonna date somebody.
Well, I'm pretty sure Ted and Robin like date for like at least a season.
The majority
like-
of this show.
And it's one of those things where it's like we know where the show's going and we already like understand that you're like basically wasting our time.
Yeah, that's what bothers me. There's no intrigue at all. You ruined the whole
You're
thing.
like, while you're dating this person, we're not going to meet your mother, which
Yeah.
is exactly what we're here to do.
The creators specifically said in interviews that they did that because they were specifically trying to avoid like a will they won't they with Ted and Robin.
Well, I mean,
They named the show around not wanting to do that.
Yep. Stake their claim on not doing a thing that makes hit TV shows.
Huh.
yeah, well, like, yeah,
And they did plenty of.
well, why not have them date for a while and then be like, that was your, like, season 2 is like, that was Robin, your aunt. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, fuck. You
Dude,
had
yeah,
me this whole time.
Do that reveal that they do at the end of this episode like later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least 1 or 2 more episodes. Like, that's crazy that it is crazy that they did it so fast. It just seems counterproductive to just like building like suspense or a story or like right away. Cause like, what's Ted gonna do next episode? You're assuming they're not gonna. I guess we don't know whether or not they're gonna jump around in time. Like having only watched this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they don't, but like.
Well, you kind of assume that he's gonna go after Robin, right?
Right, and that's the whole thing. He's like, "Hey, this is your Aunt Robin." Okay, cool. Welcome to the next episode where he's trying to bang your Aunt Robin.
Yeah.
I totally banged your Aunt Robin.
You know, like
We all did.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
oh god.
Sorry, what?
The stories that
What
he
are we
tells
doing?
these children.
So I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting way to do it. It's different.
Yeah, it is different.
It's definitely different.
And that
Yeah.
was like they specifically tried to do that because they wanted to separate it from Friends, which had like a pretty strong will they won't they between Ross and Rachel.
Right. I mean, and that was
This would basically
that was like
just-
all Friends though.
just
That
be
was
that.
that was forever Friends.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
they didn't have to do that for 9 seasons in their show. They just had to do it for like 1 season.
Yeah, they could have like
They could have milked it.
yeah, but I feel like that was their like. I mean, especially in this being the pilot, like them trying to sell it to the network or whatever is like, hey, it's like Friends, but it's not. We're not gonna do that thing.
That's why we're
and,
different.
and the network's like, cool, not Friends. All right.
Sweet. You know,
It's full of friends that's not friends.
yeah. And then the studio was like, oh yeah. Oh, the network was like, oh yeah, like not Friends. You know how successful Friends
Yeah,
is though,
You know
right?
how much
Yeah.
money that show made, right? It's like the most successful show ever.
Like that will they won't they crap sells.
It feels a
Uh-huh.
little bit to me like kind of a cross between like Friends and Scrubs. It's like
Hmm.
Friends living in New York, but plus like a main character who like feels too much.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. He's a John Dorian for sure.
Yeah,
He would drop a "I love you" on a first date.
Everything
That's-
is a big grand gesture, and everything is super important, and he just feels everything, man.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
why I mostly don't like him as a character.
Yeah.
Ted.
Ted's
Yeah.
a lot to handle.
I mean, as like a
Ted's a
TV
lot.
character, he's like fine,
Uh-huh.
like over the top is like a TV character. But then sometimes, like when you watch these like Friends or this show or something like that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm like their age now. I wonder, like, would I hang out with these people? And I'd be like, I would hate Ted. Like, like, oh, you love her too, huh? All right, cool.
Yeah, they really didn't make you like him that much in this episode. I feel like he's just kind of self-interested, and
Well, he's a hopeless romantic.
That's perfect. Yeah.
he's a hopeless romantic, but who doesn't care about anything else that's going on or anyone else's feelings, really.
I mean, he cares about like Lily and Marshall and like how they're doing, but he does like when they're sitting down, he's like, "Oh, congratulations, but I'm having a bad day." He is kind of like
I
that.
met this girl
that's,
though.
That's exactly like he's at the bar with Barney. Like first scene you see Barney, and he just starts offering up his like opinions on life and Marshall and everything.
Mhm.
It's just like,
Yeah, at least the character of Barney doesn't like care. He's like very like, "Hey, marriage is dumb. Let's party. Like we're single. We're young."
Mhm.
yeah.
He wears suits all the time, which I find is weird. I
He
don't-
loves laser tag.
That's fun though.
Suits and laser tag.
I
That's a
feel like-
weird combo.
Yeah, like right. That doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like I wish I had a friend who like wanted to play laser tag more.
Mhm.
I'd probably go play laser tag with that person.
Yeah. Good cardio.
Yeah, I'm like sure.
well,
I'll
you've
go.
never asked.
Well, it's because I've never asked because I'm not the friend that's super into the laser tag. I want someone else to ask me.
All right, okay.
Ask me, Jimmy.
We're all going to play laser
I'm
tag
sure
after
there's
this.
a Grand Slam still open in the Metro.
There's a fun casting what if. So they casted
Ooh.
Aunt Robin with Colby Smulders, who's a relative unknown at the time.
Mhm.
But the person they really wanted was Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh, as Robin.
Yeah.
I would have
Interesting.
loved that.
But she turned it down. But
I
that's
don't
who
know
they
if she
originally
would have
wanted.
been good for that role.
I don't know. It would have been a different thing.
It would have been a
Would've been
different show.
Very
Yeah.
different.
Because it's
I don't think she could pull off the Kobe sass.
yeah, and there's just so much to like. Jennifer Love Hewitt is just like a known actress, so it just would automatically been like Robin's like the hot girl.
I
right?
wish I would have. I wish
Yeah.
I would have happened. I would have watched the show. I would have been every week. I would have been like, I can't hardly wait till the next episode.
something.
I was just gonna
something.
say, what was she in? What's her big thing?
Party of Five.
I know what you did last summer.
Oh, okay.
House arrest.
I don't know if she was in Party of Five. Was that
That's Nev
was that
Campbell.
Nev Campbell?
Yeah.
Okay. She was in Can't Hardly Wait.
House arrest.
House arrest.
It's the one where the kids like lock their parents in the basement because they're getting divorced, and then all the other neighborhood kids lock their parents also in their friend's basement because they're having other problems.
Really?
I've seen that movie a lot for some reason.
Oh, also,
That
I know
is
what you did last
odd.
summer.
Yeah, and I still know what you did last summer.
And apparently, she was in some show called Zootopia,
Oh God.
Yeah, Party of Five
You
was
gonna
her
bleep that.
big, her big
a
thing.
romantic comedy centered on a Gentile who pretends to be Jewish in order to win the affection of his love interest.
Oh. She also made an album, and it's real bad.
Oh, I can't.
One of the
imagine.
songs, one of the hit songs, is called "Let's Go Bang."
like she wants to
Nice.
have the sex.
I mean, that's what the chorus implies.
Okay.
Oh, she was in Sister Act 2.
Oh yeah.
I
She's
forgot
just one
about
of the
that.
kids. I feel like she has like one line, and it's like, after Sister Mary Clarence gives like a speech about how they need to pull it together, she's like, "You guys, she is right."
That
That's it.
could be.
And then she's like, "Let's go bang."
Is that what the
Let's
song
go
sounds like?
bang.
Are we gonna get? We're gonna get our first copyright strike ever for you singing "Let's Go Bang" by Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I hope so. I'd be honored to be sued by JL Hewitt.
JLH.
JLH.
Oh, man. Okay.
I
well,
just want to watch Can't Hardly Wait right
what
now.
else? What else? I mean, it was funny. There's lots of funny little stuff. Marshall's bad at opening champagne when he asks Lily to marry him, and he pops her in the eye, and she wears a eye patch like a pirate for the rest of the episode, and Barney makes some references to that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, just a cute girl wearing eye patch. Fun physical comedy. A little bit. That's kind of fun. Product of the times, bugs me now, but I understand because it was 2005. But laugh track bums me out.
Yeah, there's a laugh track. Yeah,
I did not even notice that.
That's
to be
too
honest.
bad. You're brainwashed by the network.
Absolutely am.
Yeah, I can't. I have a hard time first getting into a show when they have a laugh track. If I keep watching it, you kind of it goes away in your mind a little bit. But
I'm sure I didn't notice it because my wife and I just watched all of Friends within this last 6 months.
You've been hearing laugh tracks all over the place.
I just assume that they happen in real life all the time. I assume people are laughing at my jokes like that.
For this
all the
episode, can you edit in a laugh track?
time. We say funny things, but no one's here to laugh.
Oh man,
we'll see.
Nice.
In 20 minutes, there'll be one laugh track thing.
Totally out of context.
Yeah, it won't even be a joke. I'll just throw it in.
Very serious.
No, probably
horrifying
not.
laughing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fine first episode, good, just a good solid show. But I mean, I don't know, 6 out of 10.
Yeah. This isn't really a pilot thought, just a show thought that I think maybe fits in this section more than I think there'll be things to talk about in the finale. So I'll put it out now. But I remember, so I've seen a lot of this show, and then there was a period when me and Claire didn't have internet. So we were just watching DVDs, and one of the DVDs I have is season 4 of this show or whatever. So I popped it in, Claire's never seen it. I popped it in thinking
That's why you hold on to DVDs, guys.
Yeah, just in those times where you don't have internet.
Because the Armageddon's coming for your internet.
So stock up on spam and DVDs. So I popped it in thinking this will be a good nostalgia lull for me, and maybe Claire will like it because there's emotional stuff going on and hilarious jokes. But we were watching it, and it's first of all, Claire hated it, and second of all, I was embarrassed that I put this on and it was just this is a show I liked, and I was embarrassed by the corniness of it, which I guess I hadn't. I just kind of glossed over at the time, but also just that how awful Barney is.
Yeah, he's a terrible human.
Which I realize now, and even then I knew it was part of the joke, but there was a part of me that was just I mean, I'd say a part, but 90% of me was Barney Stinson is fucking dope, and he is a womanizer, and this is a person I would like to be if people saw me as a person who just
I'm racist and sexist at the same
racist
time.
and sexist, but has a lot of sex. Totally worth it. And and then
Are you telling everyone now that you still think that?
No, and I'm not even saying that I'm a total whatever white knight prude now, and I'm super treat everybody with respect, but it is
you have lost your Playboy status over the years.
But I kind of look back and just go oh yeah, that is kind of gross, and this guy is kind of silly, and not even in a funny way, but just kind of kind of a sad way.
I think he is for a lot of the first seasons, a lot of people can take him kind of a bunch of different ways, where some people can take him like that, where he's so cool and I wish I could be like him. But then if you're not, you don't think like that, some other people, which I think I kind of
if you're
thought
no
it
longer
most
22 years old,
you're he's just kind of sad.
Yeah,
it's just a sad. He doesn't need to be married or settle down. That's not what I think is sad about him. It's just he's trying so hard to be a way that
always wearing a suit
doesn't seem to be even happy for him, really, if you're paying attention.
Yeah,
his very first lines in this episode was Ted calls him to talk about a thing, and then he's hey, you know how I used to be into half Asian chicks, now I'm into Lebanese chicks.
Yeah, literally the first line
yeah
of Neil Patrick Harris, American Treasure.
It's interesting because obviously his character, I would assume, especially for knowing just a surface level of who Neil Patrick Harris is, you know, in his like personal life.
Total womanizer.
Being I don't know, a gay man.
Yeah.
Totally a terrible human being.
That like he's like, hey, this is my womanizing character.
Yeah.
Satire, like
My satire
joke.
of what a straight man would be like.
But
yeah.
it's just sad to think of how many people probably watch the show and like, dope dude, super cool. I don't
Exactly.
get the joke.
And I
What
was
a
I was
bro
one
this
of those
guy
dudes.
is.
and you were like that for a little bit.
yeah.
Okay, can I just say, Joe, I totally understand like your embarrassment and shame in loving Barney, but at least he wasn't David Duchovny in Californication. I have
That's
some
true.
real like thinking I need to do and reflecting on like who I was as a young man that I was interested in that character. Listeners, go back and listen to our Californication episode.
Yeah, that's rough.
Because I like who was I? At least this is a comedy.
This is at least funny.
At least
yeah.
in the pilot, like he's throwing up high fives after he says stupid stuff, and they're like leaving him hanging. You know, at least he's got that.
Yeah, at least they treat him like not like,
I
what
can't
he's doing
handle
is cool.
you.
Yeah, the other
Lily's
characters
like-
do not treat him as cool.
Lily's like, I can't do
It's
this.
kind of funny sometimes where like that like satire is lost on a lot of people,
Uh-huh.
and either people like idolize a character like that for reasons that Joe has now explained, or like people are like super offended by a character like that when it's like you also don't get like what's happening.
Yeah,
You
it's-
know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a type of character to kind of stir up the pot with these other characters.
Right.
There's definitely some bros out there with like Barney Stinson t-shirts who just don't know that Neil Patrick Harris is gay in real life and would hang themselves if they knew that.
I mean, there's a 42-year-old dude that calls his friends up and tells them to suit up on a Friday night,
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
like today,
At
six
dive
years
bars
after.
at inappropriate places and times.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the strip club, suit up, bro.
It's not okay if you're not already wearing a suit to show up to a bar like that, to get dressed up in a suit.
I've never seen
to
anyone
go
at
to
a bar
place.
and thought that dude's cool because he was wearing a suit. I've never thought that in my entire life. I thought that man is less comfortable than me in jeans. That's basically what I thought.
Yeah,
Or
it's awkward.
must have been at a wedding.
Yeah, they must be coming from a wedding.
Two thoughts. Must have been at a wedding, and I'm more comfortable than you. Predictions.
Yeah.
All
Do
right.
it.
So I'm gonna do mine. I think the blue French horn is back.
Ooh, call back.
Fair.
That was
Fair.
a thing. It was in the restaurant in the first date with Ted and Robin. He stole it and brought it to Robin's apartment
Mm-hmm.
in that episode.
Called it a Smurf penis.
Yeah, I think the
several
Smurf
times.
penis strikes back. I think there's a wedding, but it's not Ted's.
Ooh. Okay.
I think someone's running like late, like they're trying to get to probably the wedding, but I don't know. They're running late. They're trying to get somewhere. They need to be there. And then they go like it's some sort of, like adventure kind of thing. We'll know when
Okay.
we see it.
Okay.
And then I think someone eats a hot dog.
Okay.
Ooh, bringing hot dog back.
Bring
nice.
in hot dog back.
That's like some season 3 stuff or something.
You know
Yeah.
it.
I generally remember the plot points from the finale, so all of mine are like someone does a thing type of predictions.
Nice.
So I have someone gets a haircut.
In preparation for the wedding.
We'll see.
That's
We'll see.
totally happening.
Someone drinks a gin and tonic,
Ooh.
specifically a gin and tonic.
Is that just me during this podcast right now?
Yeah, can
Yeah.
it be me?
Real
Maybe
life
me.
counts also. Someone rides a bike. And then somebody says howdy.
Oh.
Howdy.
I hope they say howdy and then they munch on a hot dog.
Wow. I'll just walk right out of here if that happens. Okay. I think Lily and Marshall's Gots Kids
Okay.
is my number 1. Because if they got married in like season 1 and it's been 9 years, they just can't have kids then. That's
It's
happened.
been a long time.
Number 2, I think Barney and Ted suit up.
Okay.
There was like one time Ted suits up and Barney's like, "You finally did it," and then later he brings it up again. I can't believe you didn't suit up. I think they suit up probably for a wedding, probably for Ted's wedding.
No.
Mm.
Is
You're
my
going-
number 3.
You're going against me.
Suit up.
All right.
Yeah, And then my number 4, I think. So in this first episode,
Show's called How I Met Your Mother, not How I Married Your Mother. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Ends in them meeting. Hi. Credits roll.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But they could have met in the last season, and then got married by the finale.
Sure. I fully agree.
Ted moves fast, as we've learned.
Yeah.
Who says they're even married?
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
No?
we don't know.
Ted's gonna get married. That's
Why do
his
we gotta
whole
see
thing.
that? Why do we gotta see
He's
their wedding?
talking
We already
about
know they're
being
married.
the father of Robin's kids at their first date. Dude's gonna get married to somebody, something. Okay, so my last one is in this pilot episode. Ted and Marshall are talking about going over the proposal, and Ted's just like, "This is how it's gonna happen. They're gonna have sex on the kitchen floor. Please don't have sex on the kitchen floor." And then they propose, and they do have sex on the floor. And Lily's like, "There's a Pop-Tart on your fridge, by the way." And Marshall says, "Dibs." So I think Marshall dibs something in the
I thought you were
finale.
gonna say I think Marshall eats that Pop-Tart finally.
I mean, that would be great too.
That would be amazing. I'll watch this
He
entire
will break
show.
teeth on
Like,
that Pop-Tart.
yeah.
after
I will
9 years.
rewatch this entire show if he eats that
I
Pop-Tart.
could have swore that happened in the pilot, but I didn't see it. So
No, he just
maybe
said
it's
dibs
later.
and that was it.
They,
Maybe it
they
does
just
show up later.
acknowledge it. Anyway, I think Marshall calls dibs.
Cool.
My 4th prediction.
All right. Well, let's watch the last episode of the show called Last Forever. Just looked it up. So I didn't let any of my predictions get swayed by the
Last
name.
forever.
How I Met Your Mom.
We'll see after that. And we're back. We are done with that two-parter, The Last Forever of How I Met Your Dead Mother.
Twist.
Your dead ass mother.
Jimmy has feelings. Joe is out of feelings.
What do I even
Ted
read?
Mosby, king of feelings.
Ted has every feeling.
He got feelings. Do I read a write-up for both episodes? I mean,
Yeah.
okay. I'll just read the shortest write-up
All right.
I see for both. So here's part 1. After Barney and Robin's wedding, Ted builds up the courage to approach the mother at the train station. Meanwhile, 3 years after the wedding, Barney and Robin drop a bombshell on the gang. They're divorced.
So the long and short of it is it starts with Barney and I keep wanting to say
Robin.
Laura. Barney and Robin's wedding. And that's where Ted meets the mother because she's the bassist in the wedding band. And then for the rest of like the 2 episodes, they just fast forward the like
Do we know
30
who
years.
Cindy is?
Cindy?
Later, maybe we'll get to it, but later in part 2, he said they go back to that train scene, and he's like, "Wait, you're Cindy's roommate, right?"
Oh, I think that's just like a girl he hooked up with. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, maybe
So
in
like have
season
we
5
seen
we
her
met her or
before
something.
this basis before
Yeah.
potentially.
So it begins with him meeting the mother, and then it fast forwards literally until the time that he's telling the story in present day to his kids.
Yeah.
Him telling the story, by the way, not
Not
Bob
Bob
Saget.
Saget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
not Bob.
Josh Ridnor,
Josh Radnor.
Josh Ragnarok.
Which
Not Bob
Jason
Saget.
Derulo.
Which then brings us to why did they use Bob Saget at all?
You
Yeah.
got to throw a big name in there.
So yeah, they go to that last bit. They talk about how the mom died, and then Josh Radnor as Ted is talking to his kids, and his kids are saying, "Oh, you're telling this story because you want to go like hook up with Aunt Robin because Mom's been dead for 6 years. So like go do it." And then he shows up outside Robin's house with the
Blue French horn.
blue French horn. Yeah. Which I think I've talked about this before, like even on this pod, but like I had this theory that like what would have been cool is if they go to present day and it's Bob Saget telling the story.
Uh-huh.
And then when he goes to
goes
see
to Robin.
Aunt Robin, it's some other like 90s TV actress, like a Courtney
hell
Cox
yeah.
or something. And then like the way that they explain that is that like Josh Radnor and Neil Patrick Harris and all those people, that's like the version of those characters when they were younger that Ted is like making sound really cool, but
Mhm.
really it's Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Like in real
Yeah.
life, like
Yeah.
the characters we've been watching the show with, those are like the idealized versions of these characters.
And like
through the
Robin is
story.
like Winona Ryder or something.
yeah, it's just some other actress.
Maybe
because that's
cooler,
what she looks
actually.
like in real life. Yeah,
Yeah.
which would have been cool, but whatever.
But nope, it was this instead. So my whole qualm then at the end of this, I could totally see why people are pissed. They set it up. They set this whole thing up. Oh, we're not friends. We're not will they, won't they? Like take Robin out of the scenario immediately, and then just fucking give you Robin
Yeah, it ends
because
with him going after
we don't
Robin.
care.
It's geared at, it's called How I Met Your Mother, and then the mother's just like a small piece of the story, and then it goes back to Ted and Robin.
It
I mean,
has very little to do with anything.
They did it. Yeah, I have a halfway through the second episode, I was like, is this uninspired TV, or is this like truly something different?
Uh-huh.
And I don't necessarily think I know the answer.
What do you mean by something different?
What show plays like a long con like this?
We essentially got rickrolled for 9 seasons.
Like How I Met Your Mother. This show has nothing to fucking do with that.
Yeah.
It is not
That has
like
nothing to do with it. Yeah.
it could. This show could have been called anything else, but the name itself is like subterfuge. Like it's pointing to somewhere else, and you think it's gonna pay off in a way, which it doesn't. And I guess I like that, but it's just like, are you doing these things like Barney? Like why Robin and Barney are getting married just to like fill time to like do a thing? Are you just like going through the motions and figuring these things out, or are you like did they have like this crazy big plan to like do this and like tell like I mean, oddly enough, like an actually like unique story?
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, do I not like it because it was different? But then I don't want to just like sitcoms that are just sitcoms.
Right.
But like for some reason, this like rubs me the wrong way.
Because it was different.
Yeah.
I think there's two. Yeah, I think there's two separate issues. One is like how it ends with the mom being dead and Ted going after Robin, and then the other issue is just the structure of these last 2 episodes, where it starts off in a place and then it literally just like fast forwards for 30 years and just like hits plot points in between.
It seems and that's my biggest thing. I
was
think
odd.
maybe that I'm thinking like I don't like this.
Uh-huh.
And is it just because I'm like, did they meet this mother that this whole show was about in the
Just
last episode?
Yeah.
Like
So you don't
I
really build
almost-
up any.
I
love
almost
for
feel
her.
like it's like that part of like just meeting the character that this whole show is literally named about
Uh-huh.
is like, I'm like, are you disrespecting me as a viewer? Like in a way,
Yeah.
like you're saying I'm going to tell you this thing and you never ever actually really tell me the story.
Mhm.
You tell me the story, but it's 1% of the whole story
Yeah.
that you're actually telling me. Or do I like it because it's different?
And then the entire rest of the story during these episodes, it's like Robin and I can't remember any names.
Barney?
Robin and Barney get married, and then they get divorced, and then Barney has a kid, and then Robin gets a job. Marshall becomes a judge. Marshall and Lily have another kid, and these things are just sort of just like tossed in, like it's like a line of dialogue, and then on to the next thing.
Well,
and
they are tossed in, but they're still like they're almost still as much or even more of these 2 episodes still than meeting the mom and
yeah,
dealing with and having their relationship and her dying and then him like going back to like Robin.
Yeah,
like
and that is-
even all the other characters' stuff is still more than that Ted
Yeah.
and his wife thing.
and all those things. There's like a lot of like tender moments in this episode, like one where like Barney meets his kid for the first time, and like another one.
You call that tender.
Yeah.
I call that completely unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean it is, and it's like
Yeah. I mean, considering the way they threw it together, Neil Patrick Harris did a great job. But
he worked with
he's
what he
just
was given.
great.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
But there was no setup. Yeah.
there's completely no setup.
It went from 0 to 1,000 with him being like fucking party,
If
to,
you're gonna
like,
do
I
that,
love you forever.
have to have a Neil Patrick Harris to do that.
Like
But still, I get it.
like 4 seconds before he met that kid, he was throwing cigars around, being
Yeah.
like, "I'm not the dad,"
Uh-huh.
and then he
True.
just immediately switched to like, "I'm not going to be the best
Yeah,
dad
the
ever."
music changes. He's like half crying, and then we're supposed to like feel something about that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what? Yeah, that's mostly. I'm like, I mean, maybe that could happen, and I'm sure that's probably kind of happened. Where I was like, oh, I guess I am the dad. I'm going to do this, but it was just like
I'm
me
sure
as the
that's
viewer.
how it works.
Like, why do
as
I
a
care?
male.
And then before you can even soak it on, it moves on to the next thing.
Right, and then he's in another like scene, like basically almost hitting on people
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, I was
Like-
gonna say that
Like
that
you didn't,
scene.
you barely changed.
They give him a little turn though, where he's in the bar and now he's like reprimanding young women for
Yeah,
being
but
out
I
late.
almost feel like he only did that because they set him up to being like so tired. Like if he had like he was like a well rested father, he still would have tried to bang those girls.
Yeah,
Like you know what
Oh.
I'm saying? Like
Okay.
I don't even believe that he like
Maybe.
changed. I just believe that he
Uh-huh.
was so sleepy that
Yeah,
he didn't
okay.
want to. He couldn't deal with it at that moment. Like
Yeah.
I don't have time for this. I'd rather have a nap.
uh-huh.
Sure.
The other big turn is like where Ted says, "Yeah, and that's like when I met her, and then we got married, and then when she got sick, I read the story to her." And it's like, whoa, what? She got sick?
Yeah, like they barely even was like, oh, and then she died.
Yeah, it was real quick between like got married in love, and then now she's dead. Like that happened within like literally 10 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, minutes at most.
Like that's something sort of sprung onto you, and then all of a sudden, before you can even react to that, they're talking about Ted trying to hook up with Robin.
Yeah. Hey, you remember that person that this whole show's named after? She's dead now. We're gonna hook up with that girl you met in the first episode.
Yeah.
Just moments later.
Maybe that's maybe this is what I'm going through. We're going through my wave of emotion right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I think I liked what they did in the show. I
Yeah.
think I like the arc that they were going for
Uh-huh.
and having this like just facade for the whole time. Because it's kind of like gotcha. Like this
Uh-huh.
wasn't about that. It was about this.
Yeah.
And I like that. But I think they did it all in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like really fast. They didn't spend any time on it. This is 208 episodes long.
Uh-huh.
And I get it. Most of that time you probably spent building up Ted and Robin.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And for the most part then you were probably like mad because they're not going to be together.
Uh-huh.
Cuz like you told me that already.
Yeah.
But like the last 2 episodes, that should have been a season. Like literally those last 2 episodes should have been a season.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where I land too, where I am fine with where they went narratively in that Ted's gonna go after Robin, and even that the mom dies, because like for 9 seasons the show had nothing to do with the mother. It had to do with these 5 friends, right?
Right.
So it makes sense
Yeah.
that it would tie back into that, but just the execution of it within these last 2 episodes is like real poor.
It's
Yeah,
bizarre.
it was just them in different scenarios over the course of like 10 years almost in these last 2 episodes, just going, we should be better friends. I wish we hung out more. This is crazy. Why don't we hang out like we used to? Like it was just like various
lot of
scenes
that.
of them saying that 10 different times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I got sort of get a little bit lost in like the back and forth of the like time jumping. Like was some of that actual clips? Was
I
this
think so.
a clip show?
When they
I
went,
think some of it was.
yeah, there was definitely like,
The Halloween stuff.
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think that was like had happened before in the show.
Okay. I like
Yeah, they didn't make it very clear.
because some of it was clearly shot, but some of it wasn't,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Yeah.
Which is an interesting choice. And then, like, to your point, Josh, of like, did they know this was going this direction and like they could have used Bob, but then they had like, they would have, because the kids at the end, they're clearly 9 years older.
Yeah, because they started
Very
out kids.
clearly, like, the story did not all happen in one afternoon.
Kids, let me tell you the story.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm going to start the day your mom died, and we're going to go the 6 years she's been dead before I finish it.
Pretty weird, right?
I mean,
yeah.
all in all, I think I think now I've settled into, I think this was a good story idea, and I think it was executed terribly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
terribly. Yeah.
Yeah, real bad.
Real bad.
I could have
execution.
used more like as if I had watched this whole thing, which clearly that's not what we do here. The mom, I could have used more of the mom. She
Yeah.
started to grow on me.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in other things that I've seen, and she's like a
Yeah,
good.
she's great.
She's a good
I was gonna
actress, and
say-
she's good.
She's
I
great.
feel like when I maybe she's been in things since this show, which I don't know about, but when this was airing and they said like, oh, they've like finally casted the mother on Him Yim, like this is the actress's name, and I googled her, and like to that point she didn't really have that many like TV show credits, but one of them is a cameo she had on 30 Rock.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't want to say what it is, but I think just go look up like Kristen Milioti, 30 Rock, and find the character that she played, because it is something. And then just to be like, oh, that's who's gonna play the mother on Him Yim. Got it.
I cannot think of what episode that is.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
we'll watch it after this. It's just like a small bit part. It's like
I- 'cause-
it's like a 2-line joke.
Okay. She gave me kind of a Kate Micucci vibe from Scrubs.
Yeah.
The gooch,
Uh-huh.
just like the big eyes.
I feel like that's who I
Kinda
thought
goofy.
this was, but then watching it now, I was like, oh no, wait, that's not the same person.
I don't know. She was great.
Yeah, huge eyes.
She made sense.
Plays bass.
Like you do. What else? I thought
What else can you say?
I thought Jason Segel,
Mm-hmm.
I have liked in everything I've seen him in except this. His character is just such a goof. Like,
You don't like Judge
there's
Fudge?
just nothing.
What's wrong
Okay,
with-
that was good. That was
What's
that
wrong
was
with Judge
pretty good.
Fudge?
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple of jokes that were like, oh, okay, there he is. But then he was so like squishy and like just bubble gum, and
I think he's just
Cotton
supposed to be
candy
a
guy.
married.
Yeah.
He's just a married goof.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
this is kind of what he is.
I think it's the character. I don't think it's him, but it's
Yeah.
just like,
Here, let me pitch you an alternate season finale for season 9 and then season 10. So
Oh, so this is not. So
Okay.
this is the season finale of 9. We have another season.
right.
Got it.
So instead of ending
The
it how they
Redux.
did, they end it with, you know, the end of Robin and Barney's wedding and Ted meeting the mom, right? And that's the season finale of season 9, Ted meeting the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then season 10 is short. Let's say it's only like 10 episodes.
Okay.
And you get like 3 episodes of just, let's go even 5. Let's go half the season is Ted falling in love with the mom and them getting married.
Before we do this, can we delete all of what season 8 was? I don't even care what
I don't
it
even-
was.
I don't even know.
We don't
Yeah,
need
sure.
season 8. Done.
Yeah, just delete it out.
so this is still season 9 that we're on. then, technically.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
you get 5 seasons of just their relationship together. Maybe you get a little sprinklings of the other
Episodes,
characters. Yeah. Maybe you
Yeah.
get a little sprinklings of the other characters, but it's strictly focused on Ted and the mom. And then at the end of episode 5, she dies.
Okay. That's well. Here's the deal. Now I
Dang.
care that she's dead.
Now you care, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
okay,
get
I'm
5
following.
episodes just focusing on them.
Hooked.
And then she dies,
Mhm.
and then you get another 5 episodes with Ted just like dealing with grief and moving on, and it's like maybe a whole completely different show than what it's been, but it's something different.
maybe
and interesting.
maybe one full episode of like almost just like Ted in. Oh, can we also rewrite that Bob Saget is never talking in this whole? He doesn't exist in this whole show,
Okay.
and it's just
At all.
Ted narrating his future.
Sure, that makes sense.
Because I have a really big problem with that for some reason. I can't
Yeah.
get over that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get over it when I watched some of the show before.
Mhm.
But so then one of those grieving episodes
Uh-huh.
is like Ted after when his wife is dead, and it's just like him hanging out with his kids,
Uh-huh.
and like maybe it's like the funeral episode,
Yeah.
but it's just almost like just Ted and the kids, and like it's funny. It's like
Yeah,
when-
I want to reiterate that the show, even after she's dead, is still going to be funny. It's
It
not
should
going to be
be
a drama all of a sudden.
it
It's
should
just
be
still
funny.
just funny.
Here's the deal. The Office, the Goodbye Michael episode of The Office.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of the only episodes of TV that's like it like made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
It's also like in my opinion like one of the funniest episodes The Office ever made. It's
Mhm.
so funny. It's insanely funny, but it's so
It doesn't need to be
feely.
Yeah,
one
sure.
or the other.
So like that episode, except it's Ted's wife is dead already because she died at the end of the last episode, and him like with his kids, funeral wake, whatever.
moving on.
But funny
Yeah.
as well. And then whatever the hell you're about to say.
I mean, that's it. Because then you just you pay off for the fans.
Okay,
then
so
you
so
get-
no going to Robin then.
Oh
or
no,
anything.
no, he still goes to Robin. yeah, of course.
Gotta go to Rob.
Well, I'm saying like then you pay off for the fans that you get, this time with the mother, but then she still dies, and then you still move on to like bring it back to Robin and the group of friends.
Because then you got to have like a couple episodes of Barney and Robin still falling apart, so that you can have
Yeah.
the Ted going.
Well,
to
and I mean,
Robin.
and you could like you could pull a Parks and Rec and fast forward a couple years, where like, his heart's not on fire because his wife died 4 days ago,
Right.
and
Sure.
he's
Skip
like
ahead.
better, life might be hard because his spouse is gone, but
yeah,
like he can now joke and laugh and like be a real human again.
yeah, I think that is a huge part of what the rub for me is that just moments later, I mean, in our time, like they say it's 6 years, but while you're watching it, that's a record scratch, and
Yeah.
then he's at her door.
I mean,
There's barely a moment.
That's
Ed.
crazy.
in 5 minutes they got married, she died, and he hooked up with another chick.
Yeah.
Like in our time, in 5 minutes,
Well,
like
we didn't see him going in.
he brought a Smurf penis.
Yeah. The Smurf penis is a very lightly shielded metaphor.
It's an aphrodisiac if there has ever been one.
Ooh.
He could have brought a bucket of clams, or the Smurf penis.
What else?
I like it. I mean, I think it goes to it's like oh typical sitcom.
Uh-huh.
Like this is what it was all about. It pays off. They get married. That's the
Yeah.
end. You think that's the end.
Yeah.
Boom.
They do the goodbye apartment trope.
and then it turns it and it brings you to the unexpected, and then it brings you back to the thing
Yeah.
where it's like,
Thing
and that's
you
why
wanted to do.
and that's why I like had a problem with thinking, is this uninspired? And I don't think it's I guess like yeah, after talking about it, I don't think it's uninspired. I think it's just not done well.
Maybe they just ran out of time.
I mean, possibly.
Maybe
maybe
they
they-
wanted to do something like that, but they just ran out of time.
It's possible, but they also, I mean, you say they ran out of time, but they ran out of time on 9 seasons.
That's true.
over 200 episodes. They wasted too much.
It's
time.
not like it was canceled immediately after this last episode.
It's not
they
like-
knew it was going to be the last season.
Yeah, it's not like it was 3 seasons. And they said
knew it
like,
was the
you got to meet
last,
that
okay.
lady because it's done.
Yeah.
Like, shows don't go 9 seasons.
right?
Breaking Bad went 5,
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
and like Breaking.
But also, they ended on their own terms. And if you want to have
Well-
a good ending,
Well,
at a
and-
certain point, you got to end on your own terms.
yeah, and
Obviously, at a sitcom, your job is to milk this
well,
for as much money as possible.
And that's what I was gonna say. That's the problem with
your
sitcoms
job.
is you basically try to make it go forever.
Yeah.
And for a lot of, I mean, like, Simpsons isn't a sitcom kind of thing, but like it works with something like that. But like they're trying to tell a heartfelt story and be like serious at times.
Yeah.
But they're rushed when they do it, so it doesn't like land.
Yeah. It was a different time, too, because now you can just go 5 seasons and be like, oh, in like 2 years we'll get rebooted. So
Yeah.
it's
I was going
cool.
to say there have been a couple attempts at a reboot.
Have there?
There
yeah.
It is. There it is.
With the original creators as executive producers and then just new writers trying to write scripts for this. The first attempt at it was called How I Met Your Dad,
Of course.
where they essentially just flip it and it's a completely separate story.
Is it about that girl and how she just hangs out in New York with
girl
her
who
yellow
dies?
with her, and she loses her yellow umbrella
We know
in
the
this
end of her
that
story.
first episode?
Just completely separate story, but this time it's a girl,
Mm-hmm.
which is weak.
Kobe Smulders.
And then the next attempt was just completely different script, but now called How I Met Your Father, because it's still, again, a girl this time.
Right.
I feel like they could do that. They could do a How I Met Your Dad with it's like Ted and Robin's kids, and it's Robin explaining, and then the middle section is just reruns.
I got-
See people notice.
I got one. I
The
got one.
story is the same.
I got one. It's called How I Met My Daddy, and it's
What?
and it's about Barney's kid, and really it's just 5 years of Barney womanizing until he finally bangs that kid's mom.
Wow.
So it's a single
It's
mom.
just a Barney
that
spin-off
he
show.
tracks
Yeah, just a
down.
Barney
It's just
show.
a Barney spin-off show.
Man, I do love me some Neil Patrick Harris. Did you guys see any of the series of unfortunate events on Netflix?
No.
Absolutely incredible.
I didn't know
He's
he
in
was in it.
He is in it so
That
much.
Lemony
and-
Snicket shit.
He's
I thought that was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
he's the antagonist, and he's amazing.
I mean, I did at one point. It was like straight up with talking. It was just Neil
You should
Neil
watch
Patrick
it.
Harris talking, and I was like, I want to watch Dr. Horrible sing along blog again.
Yeah, also that.
That was the best
This
thing that
whole
came out of the
show-
writer's strike.
This whole show. Oh, we need to do predictions. I'll get to what
Yeah,
I was going to say
yeah.
after that.
Oh, so you want to do predictions now?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it, Jash.
Mine were the blue French horn is back.
Yeah. Point.
Point. There's a wedding, and it's not Ted's.
There's so many ways.
Well, I mean, there was a wedding that
There was a
wasn't
wedding
Ted's.
that was Ted's.
Yeah.
as well.
I didn't say Ted's couldn't also happen,
Okay.
but I said there was a wedding that wasn't
Yeah,
Ted's.
yeah,
so I'm
that's
taking that
true.
point.
That's a good
Someone's running late and has an adventure. That objectively did not happen.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Very punctual.
And then I didn't pay
Responsible group.
I didn't pay enough attention, but I'm pretty confident nobody ate a hot dog.
No.
So,
No.
but I'll take
So-
my 2 points.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had someone gets a haircut. There was none. Someone drinks a gin and tonic. There's a lot of drinking, but it's mostly beer
It's almost
and
fully
like
beer
bourbon or some sort of brown liquor.
or whatever
Barney's a
champagne
brown
that
liquor
Lily's
guy.
drinking.
Champagne, yeah.
Mm.
No gin and tonics. I have someone rides a bike. There was none. And someone says howdy, which granted I didn't really listen for, but I doubt it.
I feel like we would have popped. Like,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, what?
All right. Well, way to be a loser, Joe.
I'm out.
0.
My number one, Lily and Marshall's got kids.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
They have 3 apparently.
So many kids. Barney and Ted suit up.
No.
They didn't make a thing out of that.
Well,
they were
I
both
mean,
wearing suits at one point when
They were at the
when he was
wedding.
getting married. So yeah, several times they were both wearing suits, but suit up was not a thing.
No.
Ted's wedding, that did happen, although yeah, I'm just gonna move
He
past
got
it.
married at a wedding. You get married at a wedding. So.
Yeah. And then I did not hear Marshall call dibs on any Pop-Tart or any other related things.
I'll be happy. I will say this. I did not see Marshall eat the Pop-Tart from under the fridge. I do not have to watch this show.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say earlier, I got 2 points as well. Is that watching this did not make me want to watch this show. It made me just want to watch Buffy because
Nice.
she's awesome. She was great.
Buffy is great.
I want to watch some Foolus.
What?
Allison Hannigan.
Allison Hannigan.
Hannigan. She's really good.
Yeah, she's
in
awesome.
this.
I like her. I like her in this show. Even she's good
Yeah.
in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, you gonna rewatch this show?
I don't think so. I think I'm embarrassed enough.
Yeah, fair. You should be though. So, but seriously.
I am gonna go to YouTube and look up Kristen Milioti 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that right now, and
Yeah.
so should you,
Go in
listeners.
incognito mode.
I'm gonna go full search.
You want this
Everyone's gonna be
to
able
be tagged
to see.
to your account.
It was on 30 Rock. How bad could it be?
It's funny.
Okay. So we're gonna go check that out. If you guys want to hit us up for show suggestions, or tell us how we totally missed the mark and think that this show is amazing, and tell us that we're wrong, you can hit us up at F&L Podcast on the Gmail, on the Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
on the
The FB.
Come rate us too. Give us 5 stars.
yeah,
Even if you don't like the show, you can insult us in the comments, but still just give us 5 stars.
5
That'd be
stars.
helpful, yeah.
Just in the description of the note, say you suck ass.
This is an ironic 5 stars.
Yeah, this 5 stars is for how
Give us so many ironic 5 stars.
this is 5 bad stars. Got him. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week for another episode of this podcast. First and last. Goodbye.